Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today I'm going to be doing a Patreon request. And one of my patrons, Androzani Major, wanted me to talk about 5 multi-doctor stories I would have liked to have seen. 5 multi-doctor stories I think we should have gotten. Now, some of them, for obvious reasons, we can't really get, but stories that would have been my dream stories, which you could still get, I guess, in audios or books and something like that, but multi-doctor stories that I would enjoy seeing, because I'm curious to see how the doctors would work together and how they would clash, how they would cooperate, and how they would compare and contrast with each other. Number 10 on the list is 6 and 13. I think mostly just because I know Colin really likes Jodie's doctor. He seems very taken with her. And since I really like Colin a lot, I really would like for the opportunity for him to work with Jodie. And I mean, yeah, they cross over briefly in Power of the Doctor, but an actual 6th and 13th Doctor multi-doctor story, like in an audio, I think would go over really well. I would love to see how their personalities clash. I remember in one of the lockdown videos that they did where they had all the doctors together on a Discord, because I love that one because it's actually the 6th Doctor that saves the day. And I remember at one point 13 calls all the other doctors fam, and the 6th Doctor's like, fam? 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 And it's perfect. I absolutely love that bit. I would just love to see, especially like early 6th Doctor meet the 13th Doctor, because I feel like she would just drive him crazy. But it would be fun to see Colin and Jodie bouncing off of each other as well. I think they'd have a good energy there. Number 4 on the list is 3 and 12, especially Series 10-12, because Series 10-12 reminds me a lot of the 3rd Doctor, and I'm curious to see how they would get on. They're so similar to me that I wonder what the dynamic would be between them. I wonder what 12 would think of 3, what 3 would think of 12. Again, because to me they're very similar. And a lot of times it's nice to see opposite doctors because you want to see how they bounce off each other. But this is one they're so similar, I'm curious whether they would get on well or not. Especially since they're both a little arrogant, especially 3. I'm really curious how that would work. Next on the list is 7 and 8. And I know we've had that in audios a lot. But I really, just a story with 7 and 8. Not a big crossover event, just 7 and 8 together. And not in some big universe spanning thing. Not some end of the universe story, but just they run into each other on Earth because something is happening. Something at least small scale to where it's kept on Earth. And seeing, like, not like Chess Master McCoy, Big Finish Doctor, but more like early Chess Master McCoy, like Season 25 Doctor, or even Season 24 Doctor, interacting with McGann's Doctor, preferably a more earlier 8th Doctor, like when he's traveling with Charlie. I'd like to see how they interact, because I like 7 and 8 a lot. And I would love to see how they would interact with each other if somebody could give them a really good script. Number 2 on the list is 1 and 2. 1 and 12. I would love to see 1 and 12 together. And I know we kind of got that in Twice Upon a Time, which I like Twice Upon a Time a lot. But when I say 1 and 12, I mean Hartnell's first Doctor in 12. Because as much as I like David Bradley as the first Doctor, to a point, he's really not the same as Hartnell's first Doctor. The more you watch of the first Doctor's era, the more it becomes glaringly obvious, I think, to people that David Bradley's first Doctor, while enjoyable to a point, is very different from Hartnell's first Doctor. I mean, no one can ever accuse him of doing a Hartnell impersonation. He has some of the mannerisms, but his line delivery is very different. He feels more like an alternate version of the first Doctor, or an unbound version of the first Doctor, more so than Hartnell's first Doctor, the Prime Universe first Doctor, if you will. I would like to see Hartnell's first Doctor have crossed over with Capaldi. That would have been interesting for me, because I feel like the dynamic would have been way different than what it was in Twice Upon a Time, because the first Doctor plays second fiddle to nobody. I don't think he would have put up with a lot of stuff from the 12th Doctor, honestly. That's what I would have liked to have seen. William Hartnell's Doctor with Peter Capaldi's Doctor. I would have enjoyed that. Number 1 on the list is 4 and 10. And part of this comes down to, I really love Out of Time Part 1. This one, of course, would be dependent on the writer. But with a good writer, I love 4 and 10 together. I felt like in Out of Time Part 1, which I listened to while also watching Josh Snare's amazing animation for it. Josh did a fantastic job with that animation. I found it very enjoyable. I like how the 4th and 10th Doctors get along. They actually get along well. I like their banter back and forth, their conversations, their dialogue. If they were written this well every time they were together, I would love to get more stories with them. Like whoever wrote Out of Time Part 1, get him doing another 4th Doctor and 10th Doctor crossover, because I want to see more of that. I loved how they clicked together. That's why it's number 1 on my list. I want more of that. I would watch an animation of that, like an actual commercially released animation. Tom Baker is still with us. He is still doing some of the audios. I mean, I don't know how much they record ahead of time, but I'm guessing he's probably still doing some stuff for Big Finish from Home. He's still doing stuff to promote the show, like those wonderful segments he did for the BFI screening recently that they had for Terror of the Zygons. And I love that Tom, at 91 years old, is still so involved with the show and the fandom. It means so much to me to see that. He's such a joy. He's always such a joy. So, to have him record an audio again where he's crossing over with the 10th Doctor, animate that, I would absolutely love that. That would be a lot of fun. And then, as an extra on the list, the 2nd Doctor crossing over with anybody. Troughton crosses over with anybody. Because if you have a multi-Doctor story where the 2nd Doctor crosses over with insert any other Doctor here, Troughton is going to steal the show. That's just Troughton. Anytime the 2nd Doctor has a crossover story, he's stealing the show. It's just a rule. It's called Troughton steals the show. That's what happens. So no matter who you have the 2nd Doctor crossing over with, Doctor-wise, Troughton is probably going to steal the show. But yeah, I would love to see a story with the 2nd Doctor, who I think you could argue is the most innocent of the Doctors in a way. He has, more so than any Doctor, he really convinces me that he really is just this character that just wants to see the universe, to explore it. Yes, he likes to help out and fight evil, but he really just wants to see the galaxy. Like that line in the War Games when he's like, well, the whole galaxy to explore? And the way Troughton does it, this is really the guy who just, he doesn't want to conquer, he doesn't want to rule it, he just wants to see it. He doesn't want to be the God, the Doctor of War, or the Lonely God, or any of this other stuff that the Doctor gets saddled with, especially post-Time War. He just wants to see the universe and travel and help out where he can, like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So to see that innocence that the 2nd Doctor has, I think relative to any other Doctor, cross over with one of the post-Time War Doctors. Any of them. Like imagine the 2nd Doctor with the War Doctor, or the 9th Doctor, the 10th Doctor, the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Especially like 14, because 14 is so world-weary at that point. What little bit we get with 14, he just seems tired. Don't you think he looks a little tired? So imagine having the 2nd Doctor there to kind of bolster his spirits up. Or maybe 15, who's always crying. Maybe if 15's upset about something and he's about to lose hope. Maybe there's a scene we didn't see in one of the finales where he thought he was going to lose hope and somehow he runs into the 2nd Doctor. And the 2nd Doctor inspires him to keep trying and snaps him out of his funk. Because the 2nd Doctor would be that one that's like, there's always hope. We're going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Kind of like Clara's speech in the 50th when she reminds him, do what you do best, be a doctor. The Doctor's like, we do the right thing because it's the right thing. Because it's the right thing to do. And to have, the 2nd Doctor give him that we're kind of remind him who he is, give him that confidence boost. No, we're going to do this because this is the right thing to do. And so, you know, it keeps the post-war Time War Doctor going, the motivation. And I like that. I would love to see that. Any crossover story with Troughton. Just like I always love 2 and 3 together, just because of how they bicker. Matter of fact, Troughton doesn't get... The second Doctor doesn't get on with any of the other Doctors, it seems like. He just doesn't. Which is odd, considering he seems typically one of the friendliest of them, but he never gets on with the other Doctors very well. I like that. So yeah, those are the crossovers I would like to see. This was a really fun video to do. This was a very creative suggestion. I appreciate Androzani Major suggesting this one. This one really made me think, so I enjoyed making this one. All of my patrons above a certain tier do get video requests, and the number of video requests per month do depend on the tier level. So if that's something you're interested in, check out the Patreon. Several different tiers there to choose from. I always appreciate the support of all of my patrons. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons: Androzani Major, Colin Coney, Perkins, and Unknown289. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated. Some of the money I made from my Patreon, which went into my savings account, is part of what I use for the down payment on this house. So I'm very grateful to them. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review. I love getting fan mail. It makes my day. I always love filming my unboxings. Link to the Amazon wish list is down there. Link to the Amazon UK wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.